The Play is the Thing, with your host, Judy Sleed. Today's guest, is she a supermodel? Maybe, but she's also the executive director at the Bay Street Theater, Tracy Mitchell. Without further ado, here's my mom, Judy Sleed.
Hello, I think I'm in the air. I think it's so easy to be Judy Sleed. Well, I'm so happy that Tracy's my guest today. She looks so lovely in all white.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you.
You're a vision.
Vision in white? Well,
I see that they put your name up there, but they keep it a secret what your title is.
oh, I'm the executive director at the Bay Street Theater.
Oh,
Thank you for having me today.
Yes, the Bay Street Theater, which is the theater in the Hamptons.
Thank you.
It's a lot of good stuff is being played there.
Absolutely.
And when did you acquire this job?
I have been with Bay Street for, well, I've been working there for about 16 years. I started as a house manager and then became general manager and then executive director. So I've been, 14 years as executive director.
You 14 years as the executive director. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised I never heard of you before.
Well, we need to get together more often then, Judy.
Oh, yes, we
You need to come to Bay Street.
Yes, I do. And are you from the Hamptons?
No, not originally. I'm a Midwestern girl.
Really?
I'm from a suburb of Cleveland.
You're
and
kidding.
I'm a granddaughter of a hog farmer. And yeah, I grew up there. My brother still lives there.
Sure?
But I've been on the East Coast since I was 18 years old. So
because you came here up to the East Coast because
I went to college in Massachusetts and then
yeah.
and then moved right to New York City. And I lived there for 25 years.
What did you major in?
I was actually a music major with a theater minor. Yeah, I sang. And then I...
Any recording?
Yes, there's some recordings. Not of me alone, but I love close, tight harmony.
Oh.
So I sang with different groups in the city, and I had my own group. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I did backup on a Liza Minnelli album, little things like that.
Oh my God, I have to see you more often. All these interesting things you're doing. I'm interested in all these very same things.
I know, you're an artist. You're a true artist, including your scarf, which I know you make. They're gorgeous.
And I must say that all this beautiful, I look so beautiful because I put this makeup on that I got from Stephen's wife, Sarah Bedell. She's selling this makeup, and I told her I'm going to put it on and give it, tell the whole world about it.
There you go. Very lovely.
So if you want to look like me, then get the makeup from Sarah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And so what's happening at the Bay Street? I hear there's a lot of changes going on.
Well, yes. Well, first of all, this is our first time being open. At the time that you and I are speaking, we have just opened a new show called Becoming Dr. Ruth, as in Dr. Ruth Westheimer. Yeah.
That
and
sounds
stars
very intriguing.
Yes, it stars Tova Feldshuh, and it's the story of Ruth Westheimer's life. And what's really surprising about it is that, everybody knows her as a sex therapist, but she has overcome such incredible hardships and things that she endured in life, starting as in escaping from Nazi Germany, as I know she shares that with you. And she was on the Kinder transport. She ended up in Israel as an Israeli sharpshooter, all before coming to New York City and, becoming
That's
the doctor we
amazing.
know her
And
as
then
today.
She came to Bay Street to tell her life story. Did she write it herself?
No, no. This was written by a playwright, Mark St. Germain, who's a pretty renowned playwright, and he had met her and ended up sitting with her over the course of a couple years and writing this incredible story of her life. It's one act, 90 minutes.
I was just going to ask
Yep.
that.
And it runs through June 27th.
One act, 90
One act.
minutes, no intermission.
Nope.
Oh.
No time for breaks. Also, it's because it's COVID.
Yeah.
COVID times, this is our first show since we were closed 431 days ago.
Wow.
But who's counting? Just me.
Yeah, it is.
It was a real tough time for a
Yes.
lot of artists
well,
and for the
yes.
theater. And but we got through it with the help of our board members and patrons and volunteers. Everybody kind of jumped in to help one another. And
Well, I'm so happy
yeah,
for that.
we are too.
Yeah.
And it's so great to be open again. But we're open, you know, with a lot of safety regulations in place. We're only allowing 84 people into the theater as opposed to the 299 that we can seat. And everyone has to show proof of vaccination to get in. And, you know, we have to wear masks through the whole show.
Really?
Everyone in the audience has to wear masks
Oh
for the
my
whole show.
gosh.
So, you know, we do what we can to keep each other safe,
Yes.
but at least we've gotten back to live theater, right?
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes. So what is this other stuff that's going on?
Well, Bay Street has announced.
If you want to
Oh,
elaborate on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bay Street has purchased their own property so that we can build a permanent home in Sag Harbor. So we're very excited about it. We've purchased the land that most people know as the 7-Eleven, which is no longer there. We bought that whole plot, and we're going to be building a new
it's like a little
theater.
island over there. It looks
Correct.
like a little
Yeah.
island.
Yeah, right next to, adjoining the Steinbeck Park.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a nice section there. It's surrounded by water.
exactly.
Yes.
So it'll be a theater in the park
yeah.
with water
There's
views.
A lot of beautiful boats.
Yep, exactly. I wish I had one of those.
Oh, really?
I have a little one, but not like the ones that you see out there at the
Yeah.
end of the wharf, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what are the plans for the
So
the-
we'll
the
be building
space?
the space that we have now, we will replicate. So it's still a 299-seat house, but we'll also have room for our own education center. Right now we have to rent out extra space all around town for our classes and our summer camps for kids. So we'll have our own space. We'll have extra bathrooms, which everyone needs at every theater.
Yeah.
You know, it'll all be modernized. And our theater was built 30 years ago, where we are now, the actual theater space. The building itself was built pre-World War II.
Wow.
So there are so many upgrades and things that need to be done in order to have a theater in today's world.
Yeah, it was Burton's wife who started.
Yes, Sybil Christopher, may she
Sybil.
rest in peace.
Yes.
She was a fabulous
I
lady.
spoke to her a few times.
Did you?
Yes.
She was wonderful.
Yes.
She was the original Mrs. Richard Burton.
Yes.
And then she actually started her own nightclub in New York City when she met and married her second husband. And it was very famous. It was just before like the Studio 54 days. There was
Yeah.
Sybil's. That's what it was called, Sybil's. And
Sybil,
that's why she had the Rolodex that she did,
Yeah.
not only with her time with Richard Burton, but she had incredible names from that club. And that's how she started the theater with Julie Andrews' daughter, Emma Walton Hamilton, and her husband, Steve Hamilton. So we have a great theater legacy, if you will,
Yes.
for Bay Street. And it continues now with my artistic director, Scott Schwartz, son of Stephen Schwartz.
Yes.
So,
He has a couple of plays
yeah,
on
you
Broadway.
think? A couple of little musicals.
Yeah.
Like Wicked, Pippin, you know, little
Yes.
things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Well, this sounds very good. How long do you think it's going to take before
Let's hope it's in our lifetime, Judy, okay? If it happens in our lifetime, I'm bringing you to the opening, okay?
Okay.
No, it's going to take
well,
a couple
that's
years.
something to look forward to.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet.
I have to hang on until I want to go to the opening.
You got it.
That's interesting that I had a guest on my show who was the sister of one of the Beatles, and she was writing a play, and she said she was going to invite me to the opening, but it never got there, and unfortunately she passed away last year.
Yes, I mean, even producers with big names and a lot of money, you know, even things like that don't necessarily guarantee that you can move a play or produce a play or get it to Broadway or even off Broadway. Yes. It's very difficult. And people work, I think audiences really don't know that it can take 10 years to develop a play to a point where it's really ready. Because the playwright has to not only imagine how it should be written, but you have to allow the time for the artists and the actors and actresses to really envelop the roles, rewrite if as needed. It takes a lot of dramaturgical, help to get a new work up.
It takes a lot of people
to
put together a play. Yeah. And I know I've witnessed that. I belong to a theater group, and I was with them from beginning to the fruition, and I saw how it was developed.
Right.
Yes, and this was just an amateur theater.
Right.
Now I can imagine how it is with a real professional.
Yeah, there's a lot that's governed by the unions. So the actors work under an Actors Equity is the name of the union, and then there's the directors and choreographers. So there's all different kinds of unions involved. But everyone is professional, and we bring in a whole host of interns so we can train them, and they can become the next, the next group of professionals in the business if they like it. It's a great way to learn about whether you enjoy theater, because you have to love it.
Yes,
you have to love it. It has to be a passion. Otherwise, you'll never make it and never even get through the hours in the day that it takes. But for me, it's not work, and you'll never, as they say, you'll never work, you'll never work another day if you enjoy what you do, right?
Right, right. So, I don't know, I'm going to ask like a very, a question. I don't even know if there's an answer, like, was there like a favorite play that you played with?
I have to pick one? Well, I am, truthfully, I'm a musical. I love all musicals. That's my real thing. I love drama and comedy as well. I'm not a big Shakespearean, but I love musicals.
Josh Gladstone
loves
Shakespeare.
He loves Shakespeare. So does my artistic director, Scott. But I love a great musical. I'm such a sucker. And I think it's because that's what I grew up with. We had the big piece of furniture that was our, that was your radio and your turntable was actually this huge console. And you would turn it on, and it would warm up the tube. It had tubes. And we, and you played 7 records at a time, 7 albums at a time, and they'd drop one at a time.
Yeah,
so that's what I, heard growing up.
Gramophone.
Yeah?
It's called the
gramophone. Before a record player, before a turnstile. Yeah, I know.
I had one of, his Meister's, what is the name of that gramophone? His Meister's voice.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, you have to learn that by, especially when you look at that movie, Singing in the Rain.
Yeah, of course.
They used it, Meister's voice, when they put the sound to...
Yes, exactly, when they do the voiceover or whatever.
So you love musicals. So
love musicals. So we just did Evita several years ago. That was our, one of our terrifically sold out works. Evita I loved. I loved Grey Gardens. I loved
Grey Gardens
Grey
was a
Gardens.
musical?
Oh yeah, very much so. And we did
I
it.
read the book.
Yep.
You know, that lady lives where I live, Lois,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And I didn't know it was, I know that
Oh, yes.
Drew Barrymore was in it, but I never
they
heard
did it
any
as
of
a
the
music-
songs.
Oh yeah, it's terrific.
Good,
Oh,
good
another
music.
winter in a summer's town. Oh my God, it's beautiful. There's some really nice numbers
Yeah,
in it.
some songs could really
Yeah.
get to you.
And now this summer we're doing Camelot.
Oh.
So that'll be in August. Camelot, a new version with all the songs and hits that you know,
Yeah.
but a new 10-person version of Camelot. So I can't wait. It'll be very
Yes,
fun.
it must be really
Yeah.
great to see another, when you actually know the whole story and you see another production. I love to see different
Yes,
people do different things.
absolutely.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and see what they do differently. See what choices the artist or the director or the choreographer, what they did differently in each one. It's fascinating if you enjoy the art
Yes.
form.
Yes,
I love it.
I do too.
Yeah.
So, do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have a brother who's not in the artistic field at all, a younger brother.
How could that be?
We did not come from, my father actually liked to sing, but he was a shower singer. You know, he had a really great voice though. And my mother was tone deaf. May they both rest in peace. My brother, my father was a physical therapist, my mother was an attorney, and my brother's an attorney now.
Oh,
So-
well, that's a good profession.
Yes, yeah.
It is.
He's a
So
Good egg.
maybe while he's doing a case, he could go sing.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah.
It'll help the situation.
yeah, right. No,
Yes,
it's all
it is.
it's all good.
Have you ever tried, or did you ever write anything yourself?
I wrote things during college. I wrote a couple pieces, but nothing. That wasn't my passion. I love to sing and play piano, just
Yeah.
to accompany myself, which I can't do well. I can do one or the other, but not both at the same time. It's very
Well,
hard.
me too.
It's
I
very
can't.
difficult, but I
Yeah.
love to sing.
You
So,
love to sing.
yeah, that's my-
I'd love to hear you sing.
What do you want to hear? Like, on a clear day, rise and look around you, and you'll see who you are. I probably should have warned the sound guys. I probably blasted them out of the.
You know, this is very interesting that, as I was saying, during this COVID, I looked at a lot of
You said Hungarian.
Hungarian apparatus, and the performers had beautiful voices, real loud, but I noticed that when they sing, they're not close to another person because it must be very loud. When you especially hit that big note, you have to be away from your partner.
Yeah.
Because you
Yep.
can't, you could go deaf. A lot of those, especially the ladies with the soprano,
Oh yeah.
and then the guys, the baritone and the tenor. The tenors, they have, you know, when they put the camera on them, I noticed you could see their tonsils.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're supposed to open wide as a singer,
Yes,
right?
Yes,
So-
yes. It
But
is.
that's what you have sound people there for. They know how to tweak your microphone before you
Yeah.
get to that high note or
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I noticed that you can't be really close to your partner
No.
because you can.
Yeah, the sound
puncture
bleeds
the-
into yeah, exactly.
The eardrums.
Now, when are we going to get you over to see Tova Feldshuh in Becoming Dr. Ruth? We need to get you to Bay Street for that.
Yes, we have to make a date.
We will do that.
Well, not now because I can't write it down, and
No,
I
I
would
know.
forget. I forget things at
So do I.
my old age is really beginning to show.
No. not a bit.
Not a bit.
Not a bit.
You are very kind.
No,
Yeah.
I'm the same way though. If I put everything in my phone now. If I lose that phone, or I run out of power, like I did last week in the city, I ran out of power and I forgot the backup battery, and I didn't know where I was supposed to go next. I had to go into a restaurant and let them plug my phone in for me, so I knew where I was supposed to be. Like, oh God.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, everything is in there. Like I changed phones, and they didn't. I had to re-put everything manually. They didn't. The
Yeah.
SIM card was lost.
Uh-oh.
So a lot of
That would be
people's
lost.
numbers I
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah, that's not
And,
good.
So I understand that was really hard.
Yep. Now, if you come in June, I want you to come back in July to Bay Street, because in July we're doing something completely different. For the very first time, we're doing an immersive activity that has the audience, only 20 people at a time allowed, on the Bay Street patio. And we'll have, it's called Wonder Wall. And once the 20 people are in place, a fourth wall drops down, and there's projections on all four walls that tell a story and have a live interactive artist in the mix, in the space. And each one of these lasts only 15 minutes or so. But we're doing that. It'll be shown every half hour, every night, starting at 8:30 at night. And Tuesdays through Sundays. There's no performances on Mondays. So that'll be the whole month of
very
July.
Interesting, and you know, I love that when people start new projects. It is, you must be also very talented.
No, I just know how to hire the right people.
Oh, well,
They're
that's
no, it's
talent.
true. There's a fabulous group. We've hired a new associate artistic director that's working with Scott. And these are people that have come up in the world of theater, but they're younger artists, and they have new ideas, and they're working with projection. Projection is not something that we even worked with at Bay Street until a few years ago. So, you know, it's different ways of telling stories, new voices, which is really important. Cross-cultural people telling their stories. And if it was all just Tracy's story, that would be real boring real fast. So it's really incredible now to have not just Scott's artistic vision, but other people's that have filtered into the mix. We have a new literary manager, so we're getting new kinds of plays in from all over the world. And it's becoming a theater of the world more than anything.
Yes, just like they say, everybody has a story.
That's right. Exactly.
Everybody has a story, and different people will tell it different ways.
That's right. And I think in these times, it's really important to hear as broad a swath of stories as we could hear.
Did you know that there is only 7 different stories, and but there's a million different ways of telling it?
Yeah.
You know how I found that? By playing a game on the computer.
Oh, really? Well, if you could remember what those 7 ways are, you'll email me. 7 stories are.
It is just very interesting. But that's what I've been doing. I'm so bored that, you know, I play games on the computer, and then I watch television, and then I watch these old shows, and I'm not even interested in the story, but I'm looking for people I recognize.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to take up your time on Fridays at 5. I'm going to tell your audience that every Friday at 5 o'clock, there is a Zoom that we do called Sip and Sing. And it features a number of different Broadway artists that we've hired. They come, you come with your drink at your own home, in front of your own computer. You can come in your jammies, whatever you want. And from 5 to about 5:45 or so, we sing songs together. The artist sings, and we put the words up on the screen. And so you can sing along. And
Like
when there's a break, we all sip. Yeah, and it's good fun.
Yeah, it sounds
And it's a
wonderful.
great way to connect people. You know,
Yes.
and especially during COVID, it was a lifesaver for a lot of
and it's
people.
really wonderful. People
Yeah.
love to sing.
Yes, they do.
It's a lifesaver. It's there's another I discovered there was a Hungarian TV show with this lady who called her show Dolly, Dolly, but she called it Dolly because that's Hungarian.
Right.
And she had like all these artists, and they were singing, and they had the audience sing with them, and
Well, that's what we do every Friday at 5.
yeah,
Yes.
that's great.
And we only did it because of COVID. It would never have happened without COVID and Zoom. But it became so popular that even Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos are following it. And she talked about it on her show. And now it's been picked up by iHeartRadio Broadway. So you can hear it streaming online as well.
Great. Well, would you believe it? Half hour is gone.
Wow.
And we
that was
could
fast.
just talk for another half hour. I knew this was going to be a great show.
Thank you for having me, Judy.
And so this is what you're doing, this sing-along type of thing, and you're always going to come up with some new ideas.
We'll try.
And so is there anything you want to leave us with? Some information?
Sure. I'd just like to tell your audience that right now the play's The Thing, Becoming Dr. Ruth, starring Tova Feldshuh, and it's Tuesdays through Sundays, and two matinees as well. So don't miss it, now through June 27th.
Yes, we make sure that you come to the theater.
And go to baystreet.org to learn
And
more.
watch Bay Street, watch it progress.
Yes.
Did I say it right? Progress.
Yes.
I still have an accent.
It's okay. Don't
And,
lose that. It makes you who you are.
Yeah. So I didn't even ask if you have a family, but we don't have time to talk about it.
That's okay. That's all right.
Well, thank you so much for being my guest. That's my hot seat.
Thank you.
And don't forget, yeah, you could watch me on YouTube. And of course, I'm off the air now.